Have you ever wondered who the most iconic directors in Hollywood are? Well, I've compiled a list of 5 of the most iconic recent filmmakers in Hollywood in no certain order based on my own personal film taste. This list comes from who I consider to be some of the most successful auteurs who have ever contributed to the film world and given us some of the most iconic pieces known to man. I'll be doing a surface analysis of their film careers and some of the other aspects that have contributed to their importance to filmmaking. Starting us off first is Quentin Tarantino. How could we start a list of the most iconic modern filmmakers without discussing Quentin Tarantino? He's one of the most influential and talented filmmakers that have existed during our lifetimes. This has been seen through each one of his films. Literally not a one of them has been less than magnificent. Even when he puts out something that seems inferior, it would still be a home run in any other filmmaker's repertoire. It's incredible how the man can continually keep putting out works such as Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Django Unchained, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood without missing a beat. His weak spot seems to come from his public appeal, but even then it's more so that he's unashamedly vocal of his opinion, which is still evident through his work. Most people who look at him tend to either immediately think obnoxious jerk or overrated filmmaker, but absolutely no one can claim he's a bad filmmaker. I've seen people who tried to go after him and they don't have any ammunition, so the only bad thing I could say is that his fan base is toxic, which is a fair point. But see, it's his fan base though. We can't hold that against him. That's not his filmmaking. In my own personal opinion, it seems like where he comes up short is whenever he's playing movie critic and he's making these lists of the greatest movies. And he's tending to favor his friend's work. But how can he put Cabin Fever on a list of the greatest films of the 21st century? Like, I liked Cabin Fever, but come on, it's just not on the same level. It's not even the best Eli Roth movie. I like Hostel more. I mean, that's just me. I like Hostel more. But really, like, when we compare Cabin Fever to other films, that's what you got? That's the one you chose?
Pancakes!
No pancakes.
Pancakes!
Anyway, when purely looking at his film work, though, it's clear he's one of the greats of cinema. Next up on my list is Stanley Kubrick, and I realize I said recent filmmakers, but I think that the beauty of his films is that they've remained relevant all the way up to recent years, and that's one thing that makes him qualify for this list. He's one of the few filmmakers that has multiple films that have been considered timeless due to many of them not taking place within the time period that he made them in. This could be seen through A Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, 2001: A Space Odyssey, or Spartacus. Even the ones that did take place during that time are easily transferable to the modern days, such as The Shining or Eyes Wide Shut. For the most part, he didn't depend on things of that time in order to tell his story, with the only exception that comes to my mind being maybe Full Metal Jacket. And even this, just because it takes place during the Vietnam War. You can't have a film set during the Vietnam War if it's not set during the 60s and 70s. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. So I guess in a way that makes it a period piece too. I never thought about it like that. I think he had one of the most interesting careers, having begun as a photographer and avoiding the public life and leaving the United States for Britain. He was one of the true artists of his time, and I've always described him as a painter that painted using his camera. He was a photographer at heart that wanted to tell stories, and he put his whole life into them, spending much of the time between films researching for future projects, many of which didn't materialize. He was a maestro of his art that became a myth, with some hypothesizing that he was even responsible for faking the moon landings. A normal director doesn't have that happen to them. This man ascended to myth status. The next on my list is, surprise surprise, Kevin Smith. I'm including him on this list not due to his skill, because sure, he's on the same level as Quentin Tarantino or Stanley Kubrick, but it's important to note this man has some of the best written dialogue in all of comedy. He's one of the most talented comedic writers, and he's even transitioned into other genres too. His film Tusk is continually mentioned online as a shock film that many people want to show their friends, a lot like The Human Centipede. It's incredible that Tusk comes from the same man that gave us Chasing Amy, which is one of the most beautiful and real love stories to ever exist. His amateurism seeps through his work at times, but that's really where his charm has come from. His true claim to fame has been creating a film on such a low budget. He's attempted to create a true Kevin Smith high-budget film a few times, which I would probably consider to be Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Dogma. Now, of course, you might be thinking to yourselves, hey, what about Jersey Girl and Cop Out? Well, I said true Kevin Smith films. Cop Out was Kevin doing a studio flick, and we see how that panned out. Jersey Girl may have been written by Kevin Smith, but it's not his typical film with the dong and fart jokes. It's actually him trying to pull at our heartstrings with a wholesome movie. So consider it a big budget Kevin Smith movie if you want, but I'm mostly referring to View Askew films, horror films, yeah, even that one, and the 4:30 movie. I think that his resourcefulness and being able to defy the odds of breaking out into the film industry without any true connections to it or being born with money is admirable in itself, and a true testament to his talent. On top of all that, he completely pioneered podcasting, self-distributing films by hosting a roadshow, and turning himself into his own brand as a form of income. He's easily one of the most innovative men in entertainment, and all around a talented writer and director. Next on our list is Paul Thomas Anderson. Now, out of all of these, I believe that Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the finest filmmakers to ever live, but he's also one of the most conditional. He's also one of the ones I think I know the least about on this list, which is primarily due to me highly respecting the man and his work, but I'm not exactly a huge fan of slow burn films. His films usually take the right mood and balance of dopamine, which typically means I'd rather be doing something else productive with it instead. So the circumstances just don't always line up. Nevertheless, his filmography is outstanding with no misses seen. Literally everything he's ever made has been a home run and is so widely regarded as a masterpiece. I've spent years trying to follow and finish There Will Be Blood, and only recently did I do it. And I got to say, it's pretty good. Absolute masterpiece. I've always been a fan of Daniel Day-Lewis, but he's in the same boat as Anderson in that he seems to just make slow films, which I don't really get along with well, even though I am a big fan of Stanley Kubrick. He single-handedly gave us the Adam Sandler dramatic career that we never knew we needed. He made Adam Sandler good. It's like polishing poo and turning it into gold. The man is a magician and a visionary that sees potential where there shouldn't be, like making a film with the porn industry of Boogie Nights. I was listening to his interview of him, and he was so humble. He was talking about how that a lot of the genius from his films, it doesn't come from him. It comes from the people he works with, the people he casts, like Joaquin Phoenix. He made some statements regarding Joaquin Phoenix on the set of The Master. He said he didn't even write the beach scene. It was just Joaquin Phoenix improvising a character.
The first scene of the movie was written as like exterior beach Guam, Freddie Queller's on the beach after VJ Day. That's all I wrote because we just wanted to go to a beach and start doing things.
And that's what makes the guy a visionary, that he can choose these people that can work magic under his guidance. My final choice is Martin Scorsese. Come on, how could I create a list without the king of mafia films on it? This man is in his 80s and still putting out banger after banger. It's incredible that a man his age can even get out, much less direct a film worth $200+ million and have it actually be good. Not only that, but this man is still acting in some of his works. Let's remember this is a man that had a crippling cocaine addiction for years that parallels Stephen King in a way. His legendary status has led to him appearing on shows such as The Studio as a fictional version of himself, and having a professional relationship with the same group of actors for well over 50 years. That alone is an incredible feat, but what makes it even better is that the work they've made for all those years has not just been good, but absolutely iconic, and I don't mean just really good. I mean, this is the same man that gave us Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino, and The Irishman, all starring the same guy, and most of those even starring another same guy. This is the guy that when you open up a list of the greatest films of all time, will see his name on there countless times. He's also objectively the greatest filmmaker of all time in terms of being consistently prolific and successful. He's the king of cinema that has been successful across many different genres and should be one of the most awarded filmmakers of all time. And after all that, we're still looking forward to yet another Scorsese film coming soon. His work never and should never stop, but unfortunately we're definitely coming to the end. Thank you for watching my list of 5 of the most iconic directors of all time. These aren't exclusively the most iconic directors of all time, but I think that if we constructed the list of the best of all time, that the majority would make the list for one reason or another. Would you agree with my list? Would you change anything? Please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.